Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, 2 River Times, and Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
all. Please.
Councilmember Jackson,
Here.
Councilmember Morandi,
Here.
Councilmember Sturdivant,
Present.
Councilmember Ballard,
Here,
Councilmember Trigiano, and Ziprich are excused.
Okay, first up is we have a proclamation going to the charitable pharmacy. I know Joe is here to receive it, so let me read it to you and then we will present it to you. Proclamation from the Borough of Red Bank honoring the charitable pharmacy. Whereas every day in New Jersey, people struggle to afford pharmaceutical drugs like insulin, high blood pressure medications, and other simple yet vital medicines to care for chronic conditions. And whereas the Shaw family lost their younger sister to diabetes and heart complications in 2021. Not wanting another family to experience what they had, in April 2022, the Ritesh Shah Charitable Pharmacy was born. And whereas it is the mission of the Ritesh Shah Charitable Pharmacy to increase access to medications, immunizations, health education, and pharmacy services for uninsured and underserved patients to reduce clinical and social health inequities in our community. And whereas an estimated 100,000 New Jerseyans are living at or below 300% of the federal poverty line who cannot meet their vital pharmaceutical needs. And whereas since its inception, the Ritesh Shah Charitable Pharmacy dispensed more than 2,344 prescription medications to over 240 patients. And whereas the Ritesh Shah Charitable Pharmacy celebrated their 1-year anniversary in April of 2023 by vowing to not only continue, but to expand their outreach to ensure that every person has access to critical prescriptions regardless of their ability to pay. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, congratulate the Ritesh Shah Charitable Pharmacy on their 1-year anniversary and wish them continued success in their mission, creating a healthier community and reducing health disparities. And witness whereof I appear on to set my hand this 28th day of June, 2023. Maybe you could talk one of these guys into taking a picture of them.
Yeah.
We're gonna grab the big gun camera. Look at this.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's it. Nice. Thanks so much. Are you? Are you? Yes.
Okay, I don't think we have any presentations, so we're gonna move on to public comments on agenda items only. Any comments on agenda items only?
Good evening, Cindy Burnham, 71 Wallace. I had a question about resolution 23-169. Senior Center Improvements Change Order. What's that about?
there are some punch list items that needed to be done that just weren't in the original contract. There was a heater added to the vestibule area.
Right.
I think there was some changes, minor changes in the bathrooms, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did
Nothing
notice that.
really overly significant.
I did notice that heater, the old heater was still in there.
Yeah, that's being replaced.
And then there was another thing, an extension contract on DMR for the senior center.
That's just their their time period ran out because it obviously went a little late on the construction, so it's just extending the term of the contract.
Do we have to pay for the extension?
I'm sure we do, for the work they do, I mean, for the hours that they put in on it.
But isn't it all done? I mean, they're the architect.
Well, they still punch those items as.
Yeah, but that's done by the carpenters, right?
They still do the management of the project.
Huh. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? No, anyone online there? All right, can I have a motion to close the public comments on agenda items only? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's roll into the approval of minutes and reports. Is there anyone, no, these are all from this year, so you'll let me know if anyone's. Oh, I'm sorry, last year, I've got ones at the bottom, we had one, right? I guess we'll do them one by one. Let's see. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from regular meeting on 6/22/22?
I wasn't here then.
Okay. 6/22. Who was here? I guess Jacqueline was here.
So I was on video
And
and Michael.
Michael was here.
I'll move them.
All right, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve those minutes?
Yeah.
We do.
Even if they abstain.
Okay, all right, because we saw that, okay, great. And I have a motion to approve the regular minutes from 7/27/22. I have a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And then we don't have abstentions on that one. Or John, I guess would be, you'd be an abstention on that one, right?
On 20, anything in 22, yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for 4/26/23 executive session? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motions, can I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes from 6/14/2023?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay.
Same with me.
And can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting, 6/14/2023?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Ordinances, I don't think we have any, right? No. Okay, and nothing in public hearing, right? So, one note, we had to add a resolution to the 23-175 renewal of plenary retail consumption licenses for Catch and Centrata. I'm understanding that this was added because it's time sensitive. Correct, they're expiring before the next.
Right, the licenses expire annually on June 30th, so there was two holdovers that we had to get approved.
Okay, so unless anyone has a problem, we'll just add it to the consent agenda.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yeah,
What are these particular venues, or are we doing the full plenary list?
These two are individuals, I believe, Laura, the rest were already done previously.
Yes.
So these two were left over that had not been renewed yet, but now we have everything we need to renew them. It's Catch 19 on Broad Street and Centrata on Front Street.
Okay.
Both are just renewals. They've already been active licenses.
okay, can I have a motion to approve resolutions 23-167 through 23-175 on the consent agenda? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Discussion and action. I don't know if this is the place for it, but I wanted to ask, the current council, we are having our swearing in on Saturday. Of course, everyone is invited. For the swearing in, we're gonna try and just keep it ceremonial. Just do the swearing in ceremony, and then we'd like to call for a special meeting on July 6th, so we can quickly get to all of the appointments for the committees and the commissions. So if anybody has a problem with that, I'm just asking if we could, that's something we can vote on to set up a special meeting for us for July 6th, we can.
Long governing body.
Even if, so even anything that's said can't carry over.
Right. It's a different governing body. They can't make a promise for another body.
I take it back then. I'm sure the intention was there, though. Thank you in advance. Discussion and action. Anyone else have any discussion items? I mean, I guess that's different than mayor, so we can then just jump right into mayor and council comments. All right, anyone have any comments? Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yep, I do. So Red Bank on Friday night, Red Bank is going to have its first drag queen open mic night in honor of Pride Month, to close out Pride Month. We have 3 performers who are going to be performing, giving performances that are for all ages. It's going to be held at Riverside Gardens Park, starting at 6:30. It's going to be a wonderful show. We're hoping that it's the first of many going forward. So please spread the word and show up to show support for Red Bank and, inclusion, diversity, and acceptance, which are our hallmarks here in Red Bank. Thank you.
And I'm sorry to say my band is playing Friday night, otherwise they're 100%. That sounds.
It's not going to be in drag. They're not going to be. In
No, I don't know. We'll see how the night goes.
Right.
Maybe you can open up.
Yeah, right. I can only do that after, after I'm sworn in Saturday. They got 4 years, so I gotta be careful. Anyone else have any comments? Yeah.
I didn't, excuse me, I didn't make the scuttlebutt deadline, so I wanted to read this in public. So I just want to thank the residents of Red Bank for giving me the opportunity to serve and represent them on the dais. I've said many times, the only reason I got involved in council was because I felt the quality of life for the residents was being put last, while the interests of outsiders and others solely looking to profit from Red Bank was being put first. I worked very hard to keep the residents first in mind while being up here. This is why, as chair of the finance for the last 2 budgets, I've ensured that our municipal taxes were kept close to flat with the less than a 1% increase in both years. Something that hasn't been done in over 6 years and something I'm very proud of. I don't feel that we should be raising taxes unless there's a reason. I supported preserving the sanctity of our residential neighborhoods by working on the code ordinance to not allow short-term rentals in our residential zones. This followed what many towns had done and continue to do. We have zones for a reason, and contrary to what some may say, we did our research and found that most of the short-term rentals were single-family homes listed all year round, and many of the hosts didn't even live here. This not only impacts the quality of life of the residents living in the neighborhoods, but it takes affordable housing inventory away from people who want to be residents here in town. I also worked on the ordinance to protect our family-friendly community by amending our cannabis ordinance and putting a cap on the number of cannabis businesses in our small town, and to not allow these close to our schools, our parks, daycare centers, and places of worship. Again, this is something most towns incorporated into their ordinance to protect their residents. I've seen and learned a lot in this short period of time, and I will tell you there's a lot of work to be done. And as a resident, I wish the new council much success. I hope they always remember they will be sitting up here on the dais as the voice of their neighbors and all the residents of Red Bank, and not only for the outsiders and those looking to profit off of our great town. Let's continue to make Red Bank not only a great place to visit and invest in, but a great place to live in. I want to thank our wonderful borough employees who work hard every day keeping this town running. I want to give special thanks to our borough attorney, administrator, and clerk for all their help, as well as my fellow council members. It's been an honor and a pleasure working with all of you. Thank you.
Do you have any comments?
Yes, I do.
I just want to start by saying thank you to the residents of Red Bank for the privilege to serve this borough. During my term as council member, I have successfully launched hybrid events for borough meetings, providing residents with the option to participate in person or live streaming to have a bigger voice and insight into what's going on within the council. I teamed with council members, Michael Ballard and also Edward Zippridge to secure funding for the Red Bank Senior Center and its opening just a few weeks ago. I also focused on increasing the educational experience and safety of our Red Bank, our public schools by approving the school SROs, the SROs. And then lastly, I would just like to wish the incoming council success and greater success for the town of Red Bank. Thank you.
Michael, do you have any comments?
I do, Mayor, thank you. And they're a little lengthy, so I ask for your indulgence. They're not too long to speak, but I don't want to forget anything. So I just want to first thank my family, my late mother, Vivian Ballard, who passed a year after I was sworn in first time, my brother Don. I'd like to thank my wife Rose, my stepdaughter Jennifer, my grandson Isaiah, my granddaughter Michaela, and baby Brianna, who's new to our family. I want to also thank the council colleagues that I have sat up there with. Mayor Pasquale Mena, and now you, Mayor Portman, I thank you. My council members, Mark Taylor, Michael Whalen, Hazem Yassin, Kate Trigiano, Kathy Horgan, Eric Yingstrom, Jacqueline Sturdivant, Angela Morandi, John Jackson, and Ed Zipper. You have all, whether you are friends to me or frenemies or straight up political enemies, I learned something from each and every one of you that helped me do my job as a council person. I thank each of you for being you. I want to thank the past and present borough employees who do the critical work of keeping this borough running. They could do without us, but we can't do without them. I want to thank the resident volunteers on the committees I've chaired, the Red Bank Housing Authority and the Animal Welfare Committee, those dedicated residents who show up month after month and pour their heart into their passion. I want to thank all of you. I'd also like to take the time to hit on some of the accomplishments that I've seen happen in my 5.5 years on the council. We repaved Spring Street. We repaved and updated the water lines and service lines on Broad Street in downtown. We took advantage of a program to replace water and service lines throughout much of the borough that will recruit approximately 50% of taxpayer outlays for this program. We entered into an historic agreement with the Red Bank Housing Authority, which will put them on the path to rehabilitate units that our low income and seniors live in that are over 60 years old. We introduced and grew dog days through the Animal Welfare Committee, an event at Marine Park that has blossomed and grown every single year. We moved National Night Out from Borough Hall parking lot to Count Basie Park, allowing for the expansion of the event and making it a more community accessible event. We started and grew Red Bank's Juneteenth celebration at Johnny Jazz Park, which saw its largest crowd ever this year. Thank you to the men and women on the Juneteenth committee who put their heart and soul into those events. Thank you. We brought, as Councilwoman Morandi said, we brought budgets in at near 1% the last 2 years. We addressed pay inequality for the borough's long underpaid female employees. We addressed that inequity. We provided a 75% year-over-year increase to the Red Bank Fire Department for rents for housing our fire truck. And according to the Red Bank Fire Department, this issue of rents had not been addressed in nearly 20 years. Once aware of the situation, this council unanimously agreed to correct this longstanding injustice while still maintaining the near 1% municipal tax levy 2023. Restructured the Department of Public Works staff, flattening the department, identifying gaps in staffing and equipment, and addressing them. We promoted from within in Parks and Recreation and Department of Public Works for our directors, instead of continuing to look for resources outside who do not understand or know Red. And I want to wish those two gentlemen the very best of luck. We stood against granting a 30-year tax abatement for developers of the old B&A building. We allowed for the sale of cannabis and then created the Cannabis Review Board and limited the number of retail licenses that can be issued in Red. We created, again, as Councilwoman Morandi said, created a short-term rental ordinance, as was done by many other municipalities prior to Red Bank, and was followed up upon by our Board of Municipality Fairhaven, who recently adopted a complete ban on short-term rentals in its residential neighborhoods. We updated our construction fees for the first time in over 10 years, bring them more in line with other municipalities are. We created a developer's fee ordinance. Thank you, Tony Nybert, excuse me, for helping me get that passed through. That ordinance has and will generate new revenue for the borough for years to come. We dissolved the redevelopment agency. It cost taxpayers over $450,000 with no actionable results. We implemented, thanks to Jacqueline Sturdivant, hybrid meeting that has expanded public assets to our meeting and is allowing me to communicate now. Fighting to repair and now preserve the senior center property along the swimming road. And I saved this one for last because I hear this, I guess, misinformation that's out. And I just want to address it quickly. The borough's control of our property would be no different than its current control over Count Basie Park right now. Count Basie Park is on the rock, and its use, including stadium lockers, meeting rooms, concession stands, and bathrooms, are most times locked, and the public is denied access unless granted permission by the borough. The same would be true for the senior center building. In fact, the borough generates massive income from Red Bank Catholic, Football Club Monmouth, Semi-Pro Soccer League, and other groups who want to use the park, and we grant that permission, and sometimes limits access to the park by Red Bank residents. Putting the senior center property on the roster as Count Basie Park now sits will preserve both for future generations. I suggest anyone who is interested in all the facts on this issue contact Ms. Jessica Patterson, who I have been communicating with for over 2 years on this project at the NJDEP Green Acres program. Get the facts straight from the source. That's my suggestion. Also, to me, small things matter as I served as your elected official, just as much as the big thing. I worked with Freddie Boynton to secure a handicap space for a Bank Street resident after she was initially denied a handicap. I helped another Bank Street resident when a borough tree was literally growing into the side of her home, and that issue was finally addressed and remediated. Having another borough tree that had destroyed Mr. Dart's sidewalk on West Side Avenue, excuse me, had that removed. Couldn't repair the sidewalk. That's the homeowner's responsibility. I was more than happy to work with Mr. Dart to remove that issue for him. Helping my old neighbor on River Street, get rid of yet another borough tree that had ripped up his sidewalk. And again, only removing the borough tree, not repairing the sidewalk. Having the ugly orange barrel at the corner of McLaren and Prospect finally removed after sitting there for 3 years. And it just sat there and nobody really said anything until somebody asked, why is that there? And I did not know the answer. I wouldn't look. The chief told me back then that it was because the blinking light was hanging so low, it was a safety issue. But that issue had been resolved, so I didn't see a need for having that orange arrow in the middle. So that was removed. And yes, getting the baby swing repaired at Eastside Park, a project that took over a year to complete, but worth the effort for me because it was discouraging that one family kept complaining that we couldn't put a freaking baby on the swing. Last, but certainly not least, thank you to the residents of Red Bank, New Jersey, for allowing me to serve you as councilman for the past 5.5. Bless you. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. And I would just like to say to all of my colleagues here whose terms are ending, while we often didn't see eye to eye on particular subjects, I do not doubt for 1 second that you were all motivated to serve your community. So your motivations were never in doubt. And I want to thank all of you for that. I'm looking at you, Michael, but you can't tell right now, but thank you, everyone. And yeah, on behalf of the borough, your service is much appreciated. And I hope it doesn't end here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I want to open up the floor. Well, can I have a motion to thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Floor is yours. Residents, any comments? Yes, Jimmy.
Jimmy Dart, 48 West Cincinnati. Chief, the question I want to address is about handicapped black card people, the one that have the license plates. Do they have to pay at these meters?
At the parking meters, you mean?
Yes.
The short answer is no. The law technically says, I believe, that they have to pay the first quarter or whatever the parking meter is, and then they don't have to renew it. But from a practical standpoint, there's no way we would ever know if they paid that first quarter. So no.
Oh,
We don't, if you have a handicap placard or plate, we don't issue summonses at the meter.
as long as it's, put in the
That's
west.
in view.
Let's see. And one other question that is important, but I just want to find out is that, I don't know if you can answer this question, is that throughout the whole entire New Jersey like that?
I mean, it's based off state statute, but I don't know what the policy of other towns are.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's what I wanted to find out. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? Yes, Ben?
I just wanted to say what a wonderful Juneteenth.
Hold on, you gotta state your name.
Yes, Ben Forrest, 16 Locust Avenue, Red Bank, New Jersey. Came up earlier. I'm also looking at you, Mr. Ballard. I thought the Juneteenth celebration was remarkable. Did a nice post on Facebook because of your work. There's definitely an improvement. I thought it was very well attended and organized. I appreciated that you figured out sponsors and to give food to people. It was really amazing, actually. The march on Shrewsbury Avenue was powerful. So thank you very much. And thank you to the Parks and Recreation for making that happen in the Juneteenth committee. And also, certainly as a Red Bank resident and a former member of the Charter Commission, I do want to thank you for your service. It was not an easy assignment after the Charter Study Commission made its recommendations. You know, there was change in the air. We're facing a whole new form of government, and you were the stewards and our council members. And we didn't always, on a personal level, we didn't always agree, but I appreciate you being here through such a tumultuous time. It was a very difficult, and change is not easy for any of us. Anyway, thank you very much for your time and service.
Anyone else have comments? No, anyone online? No?
No, man.
All right, can I have a motion to close the public comments?
So,
Have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
I,
aye,
I'm gonna ask, we have to go into executive session for a few items too, so. Gonna give you a few minutes to clear the room for us, so we can. Get to that business, but thank you. You're all invited, of course, to the. Inauguration on Saturday. We're gonna do it, weather permitting, right out here in front under a tent, so hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. So that's at noon. Thank you.
Mayor, just to clarify, the executive session is for the purpose of discussing personnel matters. Put it in the record.
Thank you.
And there'll be no formal action, correct? Lord, there's no formal action expected. Yes.
Do you still have that update for pending litigation?
I don't know about.
Formal action.
All right, then I guess it's just personnel. Is there a motion to go in executive session?
wow, this is like a record.
Good week, sir.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.